Matt Riddle may be in hot water with WWE officials over recent tweets about Lacey Evans and Bill Goldberg. Also, Lio Rush has gone into business for himself by producing his own vignettes on social media. Triple H reportedly cannot help himself by booking himself in top matches, including a major match for WWE's Tour of Japan. And the Velveteen Dream has actually come out in defense of Vince McMahon's creative decisions on Raw and Smackdown. Are you guys ready? Do you want to experience another off the script? Dream on.
5, delete! This is mine.
Alive with it. People still didn't. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on the podcast. This is NXT, right here on Off the Script. It is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, and I didn't really anticipate WWE not being at Full Sail University in Orlando. I fully expected them to be on the road to SummerSlam with a brand new, fresh set of tapings. And what we got tonight was WWE coming from Bel Air, Maryland, something that was taped around TakeOver with Morrow and Nigel McGuinness dubbing commentary over it. It was a decent show. It was definitely much more enjoyable than what we got on Monday and Tuesday, but nothing was really furthered on tonight's show. But luckily, I got news, and I got enough news to compensate for the lack of TV storylines going into next week. So what NXT did was actually tape from Full Sail tonight, and we're going to see a brand new, fresh set of tapings next week, including, and this is the only thing I'm going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but I seen it come across my Twitter timeline, and I have to talk about it because I love tournaments. And this is something it's something that I wish WWE would do, and it's so fucking simple, and it's like, wow. They really do care about the people who aren't going to be on TV, or haven't been on TV yet. I wish WWE main roster would do this, but they don't have the fucking, the brain to do something or put something together like this. NXT is putting together a breakout star tournament with everybody that is either a new up-and-comer, a new signee, or someone who just hasn't been able to get TV time due to whatever reason. It's an 8-man tournament. It's going to take place over the next few weeks, and the winner of this tournament is going to get a NXT championship match of his choosing anytime he wants. I think that's great, and that actually took place tonight, starting at the brand new set of tapings for NXT. I love it. Absolutely love it. Just based on that, I'm excited about what's to come. Plus, we got an Io Shirai. This was actually announced tonight. An Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler NXT Women's Championship match to be contested inside a steel cage. So that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see that. But we have to wait for all of that. So let's get through tonight's first here for NXT and what happened from Bel Air, Maryland. Before we get into that, guys, I want to quickly go over, if you missed anything that I uploaded on the channel, it is there for you. Go and check it out, including last weekend's Off the Script Super Letdown. And we talk about Jon Moxley winning the IWGP United States Championship. Monday Night Raw, were you even watching? The answer is probably no. Off the Script Extra, did Bray Wyatt take shots at Jon Moxley on Monday Night Raw during Firefly Funhouse? And then, obviously, Shane McMahon on SmackDown Live. We got a little too much of Shane McMahon to a point where when Shane McMahon's music hits, I hear Everybody collectively at the same time picking up their remote controls. And wait till you see and hear the reaction of the story on Friday that I got. WrestleVotes is actually stating that they would not even be surprised if WWE is leading all this Shane McMahon nonsense to him beating Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. My God. How terrible would that be? I know I probably gave you an unknown disease that is incurable just by saying that, but it's got to be talked about, man. Somebody needs to take the pen away from Vince McMahon. Anyway, we'll talk about that on Friday. If you missed anything that you see here, links in the annotation right there in the top right corner. Go and check all of that stuff out. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Believe it or not, with the bell, I got to put myself in front of the camera for this one. Believe it or not, YouTube actually has given me given everybody, not just me, have given the content creators an inside look at the analytics as to how many people have the bell turned on for all notifications on the channel. So I went into my analytics and I looked at it. And I have roughly soon to be 111,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I only have 21% of you who have the bell turned on with all notifications. What is that, guys? You mean to tell me you don't want to be notified of all the uploads that I have on the channel? It's not like I upload 8 videos a day with thumbnails taken from random dirt sheets. Needed to feed my baby daughter. Come on, guys. I don't spam you. I don't blow your sub boxes out of the water. Come on. You got to turn on that bell. Please do it for me. Turn on that bell and make sure you guys are subscribed. I want to get that 20 up to at least 30. That's a good number. If we could get the amount of people who are subbed and the percentage of the people who have the bell turned on up to 30, I think that would be great. So if that's one of you, please go and do that. I would really appreciate it. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, it's completely optional. And it's the only way to get exclusive content not available on YouTube. Make sure you guys check out Audible. They are sponsoring the show tonight. audibletrial.com/offthescripts. You guys, if you sign up using our unique link, as you see there, you will get 30 days free of Audible service. And as a thank you for signing up and using our unique link, you're going to get 1 free audiobook of your choice. This is what you got to do. Whether you got an Android or an iPhone, you guys can download the app for free. Absolutely free. You're going to use our unique link. You're going to go through the sign-up process. You will not be billed. And you're going to get 30 days free to browse their service. As a thank you, they're going to give you 1 free audiobook, and you're on your way to having Audible. Now, if you guys want to stay on after the 30 days, you obviously will be billed. That's up to you. If you feel by any way or in any way that Audible's not for you, you guys can cancel within the 30 days anytime you want. Day 1, day 4, day 8, day 30. You guys can cancel at any time, and you still get to keep your audiobook for free, and you will not be billed a dime. So if you guys want to support the podcast, audibletrial.com/offthescripts. So last week on the podcast, we talked about Matt Riddle, the king of bros. Bro. Matt Riddle, bro. Everybody seems to like Matt Riddle over in Stamford, Connecticut, bro. Everybody was high on Matt Riddle. In fact, I'm sure that most of them still are. And everybody's high on Matt Riddle because, A, he's a great professional wrestler. How could you not be high on Matt Riddle after what he did at TakeOver 25 against Roderick Strong? But everybody's high on Matt Riddle because of his direct nature. Going after Brock Lesnar and wanting to retire Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Teasing Brock Lesnar that he's going to ruin Brock Lesnar's cash-in. Even though WWE has already made a fool of Brock Lesnar already with that Money in the Bank briefcase. But everybody is high on Matt Riddle because he's just great at what he does. But apparently, he might be in hot water with WWE officials, those same people who just last week were telling Brad Shepard that they are high on Matt Riddle. And I don't mean high in the way that you're thinking. High meaning as he is in favor. He is in favor. Now, Matt Riddle did not hide what he felt about Goldberg's performance at WWE Super Showdown. In fact, Matt Riddle put out a video which he immediately deleted. That clearly did not stop people from clipping the video within seconds of it going on Twitter, where he said Goldberg is the worst wrestler of all time. Now, I don't know how I feel about that, Mr. Bro, but when you have individuals such as the great Khali still out there, I find it hard to believe that Goldberg is worse than the great Khali. Now, this taunting on social media might be legit from Matt Riddle because apparently he is upset, still upset, that Goldberg blocked him on Twitter. Either way, it's not the best look as far as a company standpoint for Mr. Matt Riddle. And he's burying a Hall of Famer on social media, so who knows what everybody in Stamford, Connecticut is thinking about that in that aspect. Brad Shepard noted on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast that WWE officials didn't ask Matt Riddle to go on social media and his tirade against Goldberg versus The Undertaker. However, he might be switching favor with The Office because when he criticizes Goldberg and The Undertaker, those comments could apply to others that he might not want to upset. So Brad Shepard says this, and I quote, "The same source who told me Matt Riddle was gaining support in The Office is now telling me that Matt is getting way too fast and loose." Sounds like Lacey Evans or Alexa Bliss. Fast and loose. That's how they curry favors backstage, to be put on TV in title matches that they don't belong in, or get pushes on pay-per-views without winning a single match. Fast and loose on his Twitter. Here's a quote for you, says Shepard. "Just a week after I mentioned how The Office likes him, he's starting to trend in the wrong direction. Nobody likes the I told you so stuff on Twitter. I do it all the time. I don't give a fuck if you like it or you don't like it. But in his case, Mr. Riddle's case, it's not a good look. Also, around here, you have to be careful about calling out the old guys. If this source was a little bit more respectful, I don't think he would be using the phrase old guys. Legends, Hall of Famers, veterans, old guys. He wouldn't be calling out the old guys. If you say Goldberg stinks, I don't use the word stinks in anything. It sounds like a fucking second grade terminology. Oh, he stinks. If Goldberg stinks and he's washed up and old, what are you saying about The Undertaker? Shane McMahon, Hunter, a lot of the older guys that work that show and are washed up. He has to slow down with that ASAP. Whoever this source is for Brad Shepard clearly needs to use different words when describing such a situation. Old guys, washed up, old. As far as I'm concerned, the guy who is giving Shepard this information is just as disrespectful as Matt Riddle. So who's to say Matt Riddle is in the wrong here? Now, Matt Riddle, yes, by company standpoint, because of where he works and who he is and who his boss is, yes, he is in the wrong. But is he really in the wrong? Did Matt Riddle do anything wrong outside of the vast majority expressing their opinion on that match? Yes, you're a company employee. You should be very low-key and very laid back when it comes to this type of deal. But if you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. Matt Hardy still works for the company. That really didn't bother Rebby Hardy by burying everybody else that's she didn't like because of one reason or another. She came out and when Ashley Massaro passed away, went on a fucking tirade. Who knows why she did? Who knows what she meant? But you don't see Matt Hardy in trouble. Or people talking about Matt Hardy and his position in the company, even though he is pretty much non-existent now with Jeff out. But that probably is a bad example. But what I mean is if Matt Riddle's working for a publicly traded company like WWE, it's probably best to just stay in your lane and do what you need to do as far as company standards. Especially when WWE has performance center classes about social media etiquette. I don't think making a video about Bill Goldberg calling him the worst professional wrestler of all time, even if you go and look at the video, which I did, he didn't really say anything outside of the ordinary. He's just a wrestling fan proclaiming his opinion on pro wrestling. Bill Goldberg is a terrible pro wrestler, which he is. It's a fact. It's a fact. He might not be the worst wrestler of all time, but he is a pretty terrible professional wrestler. I respect what Matt Riddle did here, to be quite honest with you, because I don't want people like that to change. I like when someone is open and honest, and if Matt Riddle is going to be open and honest with me, great. I can appreciate and respect him a little bit more at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, he's working for WWE and he needs to tone that shit down. I do not think, in closing, I do not think that Matt Riddle is going to be punished. I don't think he's going to find himself on the losing end on television. This is your next NXT champion. I don't think they're going to punish him via TV or in a match. They're not going to bury him. They'll probably have somebody at the PC sit down and talk to him, go over what he did wrong, why it's not right, and we'll move on with our days. I think everybody, including WWE, wants to forget Bill Goldberg and The Undertaker at Super Letdown in Jeddah. Fandango. Somebody who I am very curious to see return to the ring. Fandango. I didn't read the spoilers, but I would like to say thank you to those who were at the tapings and reminded me that wait till you see Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler in the steel cage. It is one of the best matches of the year. Great. I'm also interested in seeing this new Breakout Star tournament. I'd love to see that because you guys know I love tournaments. But Fandango, I'm not sure if he was at the tapings or not. I did not read the spoilers. I do not care to. Fandango could be the next superstar in line to be promoted to NXT. Now, PW Insider is reporting that Fandango is in Orlando or was in Orlando for this next set of tapings. This is a very interesting situation considering the timing of the NXT TV taping, so his presence could mean one of two things. One, he's either at the Performance Center or will be at NXT this week, or both of these things. No word yet on whether he will appear in front of fans, even though Fandango might be at the PC training or working out some kinks before his in-ring return. It's also plausible that we could get a Breezango reunion in NXT, which, again, I would like in a little bit more serious of a vibe. Enough of this fashion police bullshit. If Tyler Breeze and Fandango end up as a tag team in NXT, that could be a very good thing. I don't know if Breezango going to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live is going to do anything for him because they're not even using 70% of their roster. So what good is it if Fandango is going to go to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, work his way back and be in the best shape of his life to sit around not being used when you got Asuka, Kairi Sane, Aleister Black, and the War Raiders who have been off TV for about 5 weeks now? Not really a good deal there. And I don't want NXT to become WWE's rehab. I don't want NXT to become Vince's rehab. Oh, we fucked them up over here. First of all, they're great when they come up. They get fucked up when they are around me. And now they need rehab. And they need to be brought back on that right path. I don't want NXT to be that. I could see everybody that got brought up to the main roster back down in NXT. Everybody. That doesn't mean they need to be. It's WWE's job to push everybody the way that they should be booked. Triple H creates, Vince kills. Maybe if Vince created along with Triple H, maybe we would be a lot happier during the week. But Breezango is one of those guys that I don't mind because, A, a tag team with Tyler Breeze would be great. They need tag teams. They desperately need tag teams down there. And I mean tag teams that are legitimately going to get over. I don't think the Forgotten Sons are going to be one of those teams that you're going to sit down and watch a takeover for. Breezango is very good at what they do. In fact, at one point, I would have loved to see them as WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. That's how over they were. And they're great wrestlers. But him coming back down to NXT, I'm not sure if that was the case. If it is, I'm okay with it. He is one of the very few I am okay with being in NXT. Tyler Breeze, clearly. Fandango, if Sasha Banks wants to come on back down to NXT, I'd welcome that woman with open arms. But I do not want NXT to be WWE's rehab because Vince should honestly be taking everything that Triple H is doing and making his shows better. In fact, everything is so bad that I don't even think anybody could come in and fix the mess that Vince McMahon has created. Speaking of Triple H on possibly holding NXT TakeOver in Saudi Arabia. This is not something I want to see happen. Not because I don't want the fine people of Saudi Arabia to get a takeover. I just don't think that takeover and Saudi Arabia go hand in hand. It's not a perfect partnership. And apparently, the way Triple H described this situation, I don't think he believes in a takeover in Saudi Arabia either, but he does believe in molding talent over in Saudi Arabia. Now, he was speaking to a publication out in Saudi Arabia while they were over there for Super Letdown. Triple H was asked about the possibility of holding a Saudi Arabia takeover event in the future. His answer wasn't a no, but they are still considering, or he is at least considering, how to better serve the fans by expanding the NXT brand. He says this, and I quote, "The goal is to be able to find talent here in Saudi Arabia. Recruit talent, train talent, build something from the ground up here. Whether that's bringing an NXT takeover here or that's building a brand here, that is yet to be determined. It just depends, I think, on how quickly we can find talent and how quickly we can train them." Seems like Triple H is more occupied in the mind about building a PC over in Saudi Arabia and training talent instead of bringing a takeover to Saudi Arabia, which I could absolutely see happening. Because there are rumors that WWE wants to open one in Japan, China, India, and Australia. Saudi Arabia, I would not be surprised, being that they brought in Mansoor, and they recruited Mansoor last year at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I think that would be a great deal. Putting TakeOver in Saudi Arabia is, honestly, and I mean this wholeheartedly, having TakeOver in Saudi Arabia is going against everything that TakeOver is. The crowd is what makes takeovers so special. At least half of it. I don't want TakeOver to be sullied or tarnished by going over to a country that's not going to fully appreciate what the brand represents. I mean, these people couldn't even give a reaction to Andrade and Finn Balor at TakeOver, at Super Letdown. They didn't even give a reaction to Andrade and Finn Balor, and that was probably the best match on the entire show. And you want a takeover? I say no. Triple H seems to be on that same wavelength, and I think Triple H is more occupied and got his mind working on getting a PC in Saudi Arabia and training, building, and molding talent for the future in Saudi Arabia. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, Mansoor won the Super Letdown Battle Royal. Imagine this, man. This has been a big talking point in and around the community, and I laugh every time I hear it. Imagine being EC3. Imagine being EC3. In this Battle Royal, you're out there doing the deed for WWE. They got you on a flight to Jeddah 17, 18 hours in the air. You show up at Super Showdown, and the one role that you have for this show is to be in a battle royal with 49 other men, and you get eliminated in 4 seconds. So you took a 17, 18-hour flight, however long the flight is, to be in a battle royal, to get eliminated in 4 seconds, to hop in the shower, contemplate your life decisions, hop on another plane back to the United States for 17 or 18 hours, and think, was the 4 seconds of me being in this battle royal worth my entire week? Imagine that. Imagine being EC3. Awesome. It's good to be Mansoor. Mansoor won the battle royal. What comes of it? I don't know. Nor do I care. Now, WWE does not have plans for Mansoor. In fact, after Super Showdown, Mansoor cut a promo thanking the fans and the WWE for the opportunity. Now he is going back to NXT, where he belongs, and he will continue to learn and grow as a superstar. He also teased that the next time he comes back to Saudi Arabia might also be the next time you see him with gold around his waist. It's always great to dream, Mansoor. It's always great to dream. We might see you in November when WWE has Super Showdown number 3, and it's even worse than what we got last week. There's no plans for Mansoor. He's back down at NXT. Mansoor's got a great look. He is very good in the ring. I wouldn't say he's outstanding. He's very good. Knows what he's doing. He reminds me of a future Mustafa Ali. He's got that look. He's got that vibe. But if Mansoor is going anywhere in WWE, he needs to be successful in NXT, first and foremost. He needs to stay down there and learn and be molded into the guy that I know he could probably come out and be. And that's that. WWE had no plans for Mansoor the day of Super Showdown when he won the Battle Royal. None. This was nothing more than a political agenda because WWE is in bed with the Saudis and they figured, well, we'll waste 49 other guys' time and have somebody win the Battle Royal that nobody in the casual audience knows outside of Jeddah. So there you go. I don't even think people in Jeddah knew who Mansoor was, and the only thing that they knew was that he was of Saudi Arabian descent. It was a political agenda. WWE's in bed with the Saudis. They wanted to make good on their partnership. We'll have the hometown kid win a meaningless battle royal. Did anyone ever win a battle royal and have it amount to anything in their careers? Look at Braun Strowman. He won a greatest Royal Rumble and did absolutely nothing with it. In fact, you want to know what WWE thought of the greatest Royal Rumble? That trophy was destroyed in 2 weeks because Braun Strowman was reckless by ringside and the trophy got destroyed. Where's the big green belt? Oh, it got turned into the 24/7 championship. That's exactly what they did with it. I'm just speculating there, but damn, it looks fucking similar. It's awful. These battle royals mean nothing. The Royal Rumble itself every January doesn't even hold as much value anymore. Look at WWE and what they do and what they say. You go to the Royal Rumble and you win the Royal Rumble and you main event WrestleMania. Do you now? No, that's not the case. WWE picks the main events, and if you're somebody who wins the Royal Rumble that WWE doesn't deem as main event, you're not main eventing the Royal Rumble. Whereas back in the 90s, when I was growing up as a kid, you won that motherfucker, and you're in the last match of WrestleMania. They don't do that anymore. Every battle royal in WWE is worthless. They got 2 battle royals at WrestleMania to fill time on an 8-hour show to get every talent on the show and get every talent a payday. What has come from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? Nothing. A trophy that looks like the color of fucking mustard. That's what it looks like. Andre the Giant would be fucking absolutely sick to his stomach if he seen the trophy in his likeness and the simple fact that that battle royal was named after his legacy. Every single battle royal in WWE is worthless. This one is no different. Mansoor won it because it was a political agenda for WWE. Oh, the hometown kid, Saudi Arabia, will do this, will do that, it'll be good. Was it a feel-good moment? Great. But it didn't do anything for me, because I knew what these battle royals meant. Nothing. Go down to NXT, do what you gotta do, become a bigger star, and take this personally, because they're not gonna do anything with it, take it personally and work your way up the ladder. That's all you could do. That's why Mansoor won. Political agenda. That's all it was. No plans at all. Lio Rush. Let's talk about Lio Rush. Lio Rush, a very talented individual. Former manager of Bobby Trashley, Duke the Dumpster Drosy's significant other. Might as well come out with a fucking trash pail because that's how garbage Bobby Lashley really is. Awesome. If Bobby Lashley disappeared tomorrow, I wouldn't even know. Great. Lio Rush. Why are we talking about Bobby Lashley? Because he's fucking terrible. Lio Rush. Making promos on social media without WWE's blessing. Good for him. The fuck is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to sit around in catering just eating Titus's fucking chicken and mashed potatoes? Is he supposed to be sitting there eating Titus's award-winning lasagna? What is he supposed to be doing? Is he supposed to be helping Dana Brooke fold the napkins perfectly in a triangle formation with the fork on the left and the spoon on the right? The fuck is he supposed to be doing? Lio Rush made fans wonder this week what he was doing when he uploaded a flashy new video to social media. Some fans thought this was a sign he was going back down to NXT, something that I think he needs to do, or WWE needs to do. Why he was pulled from NXT, I don't know. They put him on 205 Live, and they took him off 205 Live to put him with Bobby Lashley. It worked for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and after that, it was a dead concept. However, Rush, and what Rush means by these videos, has nothing to do with the company's direction for him. Now, Brad Shepard noted on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast that Lio Rush is simply doing these new hype videos all by himself. He doesn't have any approval from the company to post these videos, but he also doesn't need WWE's approval either. Instead, Rush is simply using his time to generate his own buzz while the company is still quiet on his situation. Brad Shepard says this, and I quote, "He's been doing some cryptic stuff on Twitter, and this is the latest. So according to a source in WWE, Lio has been doing this on his own. He's doing his own thing with that video he released. Everything is still quiet on Lio Rush. He is still under contract, and he's doing his own thing with these videos. Everything will remain quiet on him." End quote. I don't blame him for doing this, because Lio Rush clearly doesn't want to be sitting around. He knows his talents are being wasted. I hope somewhere deep in his mind, the ego and the attitude was put to the side, and he now knows what he needs to do. He probably knows WWE is not using him. He probably knows WWE has no plans for him at all, and they're probably going to let his contract ride out just so that he is not anywhere else immediately helping another brand or another company be successful in a day and age where WWE is worried legitimately about everything, about everybody else. Lio Rush knows that he's no longer going to be a part of the WWE, and he's setting himself up for life after WWE. You cannot blame him on that aspect. What I do hope is that he learned a lesson, and the ego and the attitude are going to be something that is worked on. I hope. But Lio Rush making these videos without WWE's blessing, why would he need WWE's blessing? Why would he need WWE's blessing? WWE doesn't give a fuck about what happens to Lio Rush, so why should Lio Rush give a shit about what happens to WWE? He don't care. I'm glad. Get your name out there. Hey, I'm still around. I'm making hype videos. Get ready. I'll be coming soon. I'll let you know when. Good for him. I would be doing the same exact thing if I was Lio Rush. Or maybe it is something to do with him coming back to the WWE. Who the fuck knows? Why WWE wouldn't take him and try one more time. One more time. This is the second instance. 3 strikes and you're out. First was with Emma. This one, the latest incident was his blow-up backstage about handling bags and carrying water and being a respectful young talent on the roster. Maybe 3 strikes and you're out. I don't understand how anybody in this company could just let this guy go without sitting him down legitimately and teaching him a lesson. If he wants to be there, he'll be there. If he don't want to be there, let his contract run out. Bid him well in his future endeavors. That's it. But I know for a fact that that company knows that Lio Rush is one talented motherfucker. Put him back down in NXT. Put him in an environment that he knows is unlike the main roster, where everything is normal, where teamwork is a thing, where there's no I in team. That's what he needs to do. He never should have left NXT. I honestly think if Lio Rush was still in NXT, we would see a different Lio Rush now on the main roster. But WWE put him in that toxic environment, and if you put him in that toxic environment, it's going to breed nothing but toxic attitude. And that's exactly what happened with Lio Rush. But him making these promos, I think is a great idea. I know I would be doing the same exact thing. Triple H reportedly cannot help himself booking himself in top matches. Is this news? Is this anything out of the ordinary, folks? Triple H loves to have the spotlight on him as an executive and as a performer. He's working the next mini tour in Japan, and he booked himself in a very interesting situation as well. Brad Shepard commented during the Oh You Didn't Know podcast that Triple H will be teaming with AJ Styles and the Good Brothers during the Japanese shows. Of course, Styles, Gallows, and Anderson were OG members of the Bullet Club, and the Japanese fans have not forgotten about them at all. The interesting part is what a source in WWE told Brad Shepard about Triple H's decision to insert himself in that match. I spoke to a source, says Brad Shepard. I spoke to a source in WWE about Triple H teaming with AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson for the WWE show on June 28th in Tokyo, Japan. The source described this as vintage Triple H getting himself in the mix with what will be the hottest act in Japan that night. The guy cannot help himself. End quote. Now, I've heard situations like this about Triple H. This is nothing new. Clearly, we could see it by Triple H being at WrestleMania every single year in matches that really don't have any business being on WrestleMania. Super Showdown, I could understand. But WrestleMania, I don't understand anymore. Triple H does not need WrestleMania anymore. WrestleMania certainly doesn't need Triple H. If WrestleMania doesn't need The Undertaker anymore, if WrestleMania doesn't need John Cena anymore, if WrestleMania doesn't need Triple H anymore, they'll be fine. This is what I don't understand. And if WrestleMania doesn't need all those other people, they certainly don't need Triple H anymore. WrestleMania doesn't need that big name anymore because WrestleMania is nothing but a shell of its former self. I could go on and discuss this for hours. I don't need to talk about WrestleMania. We know how terrible it is. Triple H, I don't know why he's doing this. Who cares? This is in the news. And I figured I'd put it here because Triple H, NXT, you know the common ground there. Maybe Triple H realizes that this is the end of the road. And this is something that was on his bucket list. I don't know. Maybe ticket sales were slumping in Japan for WWE. And maybe he thought the Bullet Club was not good enough to sell out whatever venue they have in Tokyo, Japan. Let me add my name to the bill alongside the OG members. I don't know. Maybe he realized that this is not going to be televised. Nobody's going to make a big deal about this anyway, so I'll just slide myself right on in there. Nobody will even know the difference. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we all know that Triple H should be in a suit and tie molding the future so Vince McMahon could kill it 2 or 3 years down the line. That's what he needs to do. Or he should be grooming himself to get ready for when Vince McMahon eventually steps down and no longer can operate the WWE. But this, I don't really give a shit about this. Whoever said that and whoever made this an issue can't help himself by booking himself in top matches for a fucking Tokyo, Japan show that means nothing in the grand scheme of things. This is what you're worried about? Triple H putting himself against or alongside, I don't know who they're fighting, alongside AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. This is what you're concerning yourself with. It sounds like somebody in WWE is not too high, or whoever's talking to Brad Shepard is not too high on Triple H to make this a big deal. Oh, he can't help himself. Get over yourself. All of you. Fucking ridiculous. Who cares? Finally. Velveteen Dream. Good old Patrick Clark. Velveteen Dream puts the WWE's faults on the superstars and not Vince McMahon. Let me take a sip of my coffee while you ponder that little statement right there. How many people were salty over the Velveteen Dream's IG stories? You know, the one thing I found out about the Velveteen Dream's IG stories, or through his IG stories, is that he's actually dating Kathy Kelly. Good on him. I thought Kathy Kelly was dating Finn Balor. Now, apparently Finn Balor is set to be married to some Mexican weather girl or something like that. I don't know. He was on a drunken rant at some soccer game and he blurted out that he's in love with her or whatever. Something happened on social media this week, but Velveteen Dream is dating Kathy Kelly. Good for him, bro. Good for him. Look at, I don't understand. Look, 2:02. I don't know anyone in Washington, D.C. My phone is ringing. My iPad's ringing. Go fuck yourself. And then I don't even pick up the phone. They leave messages. Ni hao. Ni hao. I don't know anybody that speaks fucking Chinese. Anyway, Velveteen Dream. Never mind his relations with Kathy Kelly. Velveteen Dream is truly off the script, folks. Velveteen Dream says this. He usually has a lot to say, and he usually picks very interesting ways to make his opinion known. This is no exception. Fans who were cruising Dream's Instagram noticed that he put up a big heart, first and foremost, for his Kelly, or his girlfriend, Kathy Kelly. Then, in the next few IG story slides, they were even a little bit more interesting. Velveteen Dream recently updated his IG stories to provide his own explanation of WWE's booking as he sees it. Along with some visual illustrations, Dream defended Vince and all the creative decisions and put blame on the superstars for not playing the roles written for them. He says this: let's play a game. Or you fucking, you the guy from the Saw? You Jigsaw? Let's play a game. Is it fair? You know, to be honest with you, Vince McMahon is treating Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live like a fucking game. Vince McMahon is Jigsaw. He's legitimately killing everybody in methodical ways. Let's play a game. Is it fair to critique Vince? I mean, after all, WWE is a form of entertainment. You do know it is a TV show, right? WWE is on a TV, cable network, network TV. By who, you ask? Answer, Vince McMahon. Evil boss on screen and director of his TV shows off screen. Raw, SmackDown Live, 205 Live, etc. George Lucas directed Star Wars. Vince McMahon directs Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and he's directed everything else you've watched from WWE over the last 40 years. Yes, I am sure. That's the problem right there. He has directed everything in WWE for over 40 years. That is the fucking problem. Over 40 years, you begin to lose touch. There's nobody doing something like that, and they're maintaining quality of work throughout 40 fucking years. If you are, you're not of this planet. This is the problem with WWE. For someone like Vince McMahon to be in that position for so long, you know the quality is going to dip in every which way. Because he's out of touch. He doesn't know the times are changing. He doesn't know anything outside the WWE bubble. He doesn't know what's cool. He doesn't know what's hip. He doesn't know what's in. He doesn't know the trends. He's thinking like he's thinking back 40 years ago. This is a 74-year-old CEO writing for a roster, and I'm going to use the age of 32, 33. The majority of the roster, That is the age. 32, 33. 74-year-old man writing for 32, 33-year-olds on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. That's not right. That's not right. I know. I don't give a shit what Velveteen Dream thinks of Vince McMahon. If I'm Patrick Clark, I don't want Vince McMahon writing for me. And I have a reason as to why he said this. But honestly, everything that Dream said here makes him look like a fucking idiot. In the long story version of this, Velveteen Dream looks like a fucking idiot at the end of the day. Because Vince McMahon, we all know, doesn't watch NXT. He doesn't watch NXT. Some people like Dream might think that Vince McMahon does not need to watch NXT because he's a genius. But if Vince McMahon doesn't watch NXT, it goes along with everything that I just mentioned. He is not clued in on everything that is right in professional wrestling. He's not clued in on what needs to be done in professional wrestling. He didn't watch AEW's Double or Nothing. He doesn't watch NXT. He doesn't watch NXT UK. He doesn't watch NXT TakeOver. So how does he even know who the Dream is? How is he looking at Dream now? He's not. If he was looking at Dream and watching the Dream's matches and watching the Dream perform, that would give him ideas about what to do when the Dream is called up. Maybe his creativity would get some influence. And he'd start getting those brain cells working about what he wants to do with the Dream when he's called up. When Dream is called up like that and placed right in front of Vince McMahon, what is Vince McMahon going to do? Nothing. Just like everybody else that was called up from NXT. Nothing. Nothing. Vince McMahon has been a showrunner for Monday Night Raw for over 26 years. There is no show ever that maintained quality and good standing with its audience for 26 years with the same guy writing the fucking shows. It's not possible. Vince needs to go. You need a new face. You need a new stroke of the pen. You need new influence. You need new ideas. How can the show operate the same way that we know it can in the good old days with someone who's out of touch, who has not left the chair in 26 years? It's not possible. It's not possible. Now, George Lucas, he mentions Star Wars. Vince McMahon directs Raw, SmackDown, and 205 Live. Point is, when TV sucks, it's because of the actors and entertainers and stuntmen that fail to entertain you. Vince can write all day. It's your favorites that have to make it entertaining. Star Wars was great in the 90s. The new ones suck because the new actors suck. And yes, this is still a WWE thread. Game over. I meant dream over. End quote. Now, I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I'm really not. So I don't really give a shit about that analogy. But Vince can write all day. It's your favorites that have to make it entertaining, is the one line that's sticking out to me. The other one is, the new ones suck because the new actors suck. TV sucks because the actors and entertainers that you watch failed to entertain you. Why are you entertaining me in NXT? And I know for a fact that when Vince digs his claws into you, that you're not going to be entertaining anymore. Why is it that Ricochet embodied everything that I wanted out of a WWE superstar? Same goes for Aleister Black. Why did those guys entertain me on NXT? And now I can't stand to see Ricochet on TV anymore on most weeks because of overexposure and how shitty WWE has made him look in the last 3 months. Why is that? Is that Ricochet's fault? Or is that WWE giving Ricochet shit to do and he can't do anything with it because he's not allowed to? This entire thread was a complete waste of time by the Velveteen Dream and only did one thing. Dream wants the spotlight on him. So Dream went and did the one thing that knows will just get everybody so fucking pissed to a point of a reaction. And this is exactly what he did. Dream wants the spotlight on him. He hasn't done anything since TakeOver 25. Little down period for NXT right now. He wants to make sure that you know who the Dream is. He wants to make sure that you know he's the North American champion. This is what Patrick Clark does. This is the Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream is out there. He's going to say shit that you don't necessarily agree with. Velveteen Dream is going to put himself in a situation where he is number one, and you are talking about him. This is exactly what the Velveteen Dream did here. He talked about a topic that we all hold very closely to our chests and are very emotional about. He knows this. This is what he did. He got a reaction. He wanted a reaction. He got it. But I know for a fact that man goes to the WWE. That man hits Raw or SmackDown within 2 months, dead. Call me up, Vince. That'll be one phone call you wish you never picked up. Believe me. I don't want that fate to fall on this man's shoulders. I don't. I know talent when I see it. And if Dream is in the hands of Vince McMahon, just based on not only the character, but the color of that man's skin, he ain't going anywhere. He ain't going anywhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dream will be looked at as a fucking freak on the main roster. He will be looked at as Adam Rose on the main roster. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to be feeling this, but there's no way around it. Call me up, Vince. No. Stay in NXT and be Triple H's guy for NXT. You don't need the main roster. You don't. We'll get into the results of NXT. Not much to go over, but I do have some interesting pieces of information for you. We'll hit the results of NXT. But first, I want to talk about the Ridge. Father's Day is coming up, man. What are you guys getting your father? I don't know. I hope it's something nice. But what I do know is that Father's Day is coming up, and there's no better gift than the Ridge. Ridge.com/script. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. You know, one of the more difficult things for me to do is go out and shop for a wallet. I'm not the type of guy that's going to go out and buy a designer wallet and spend all this types of money on something with some stupid brand name logo on it. I'm not that type of guy. I usually go into the mall. I walk into Hot Topic. Oh, this Legend of Zelda wallet looks cool. Oh, this Metallica wallet looks cool. Oh, this Super Mario wallet looks cool. I'm that type of guy because it's very indicative of me and my personality and my interests. Now, I want you guys to look in your wallet. Better yet, I want you to go out for an afternoon with your father, and I want you to take a very close look at his wallet, because I know I did the same thing. I know my dad did the same thing. Look in your wallet. What do you have in your wallet right now? What does your dad have in his wallet right now? Guarantee you have old receipts from when you took the wife out for dinner 3 months ago for your anniversary. Guarantee you got old hotel room keys in your wallet. Guarantee you got business cards and contact numbers on some small piece of paper that you don't even remember who they are or where you were when you exchanged this information. You're looking at your dad and you're thinking to yourself, I got to get my dad a new wallet for Father's Day. I present to you, right here on Off the Script, the Ridge Wallet. It was actually created by a father and son team. There's the Father's Day correlation. A father and son team who value reliability in their everyday gear. They're making everyday goods that turn the things that you carry, like backpacks, chargers, wallets, into tools for better living. The flagship product of the Ridge is indeed the Ridge Wallet. It was launched on a Kickstarter in 2013 and now sits in the front pockets of 750,000 men and women, including myself. And I want you guys to think about your fathers on this coming Father's Day. Over 30,000 5-star reviews, and it's more than likely what your dad will love this Father's Day. When he thinks of Father's Day and the gifts that he's gotten, he's going to remember that you got him the Ridge wallets. If he doesn't like it, 45 days you have to return the wallet if he does not like the product. The Ridge wallet was actually started by Daniel Kane and his dad, Paul, proof that the utility of the minimalist wallet can span generations. Now, I want you guys to look closely at the screen that you see right here on Off the Script. You guys can save 10% off today with worldwide free shipping by going to ridge.com/scripts. Once again, that's ridge.com/script. use the code SCRIPT. Link is down in the description below. There's a lifetime warranty. If your dad does not love it, again, free returns in case he doesn't. It comes in titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, and over a dozen different styles and colors. I got the titanium because I love it and it feels fantastic. Once again, guys, free worldwide shipping this Father's Day, 10% off, ridge.com/script. This was not your ordinary NXT TV taping, folks. This was from Bel Air, Maryland. Awesome. Bel Air, Maryland. I don't really mind that. I don't really mind that at all. In fact, I wish WWE would take NXT on the road more and make weekly television on the road more. Obviously, majority of the time staying at Full Sail, but I wish we would see a different venue, a new crowd. Because I honestly think the Full Sail crowd, you guys at Full Sail, you get so conditioned to see NXT every month that if it's in a new venue or in front of new eyes, it comes off as more exciting sometimes than what we usually see. You know for a fact those Full Sail crowds, that when they get on day one of the tapings, it'll be the first taping for the first new batch of tapings. Everybody's all excited. And then by taping number 4, everybody's like, ooh, I want to go home, man. I want to go down to the watering hole and get a Coors Light. Now, those are you guys, you know? So by the time the tapings are over, you're all fucking tired. But meanwhile, if NXT was in front of a new audience, people would be just as energized. I like that. And I wish WWE would do that a little bit more often. Take NXT out of Full Sail and put it in front of a new audience. I think we are at a time where NXT could be on the road. Now, this house show, because that's exactly what it was, this TV taping for last night was on the lower end of the production value. It did not look as good as it does when it comes from Full Sail. It kind of reminded me of a shitty Impact show, and that's not a good thing, because Impact's TV tapings and their production value are fucking awful. How about that one? You fucking salty fucks. How about Impact airing the wrong episode of Impact, or Pursuit Channel? I'm sorry, I don't want to blame it on Impact. How about Pursuit Channel airing the wrong episode of Impact on this past week's TV schedule? How do you like that one? I don't even know what the fuck they aired. Or how about the prior week before that, where they had a main event and they went to commercial for 25 minutes and never came back? Great. But I don't like Impact because it's taped, but I like NXT because it's taped. That's because WWE's product is superior when it comes to NXT, and the production value is far superior compared to Impact's little shitty TV tapings. Yeah, sure, Rob Van Dam and Sabu are gonna generate those ratings over there, right? You fucking assholes. Anyway, moving on. I get that out there, man. It was in my notes, and I'm like, this isn't news. I wanted to talk about this on last week's episode of Off the Script, and I didn't. So there you go. Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Jessamyn Duke, and Marina Shafir with Shayna Baszler on the ramp, women's champion, just standing there, monitoring the entire situation. Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir have been in training, have been in NXT for about a year and a half now. Roughly about a year and a half. I think so. So why aren't these women showcasing a year and a half worth of training in the ring? Are they really this bad? I have not seen Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir progress since the last time I seen them. And that's not a good thing. I don't know what they're doing with their lives down at the PC, but I expect people to be progressing at a nice rate. Now, I don't expect them to come on in here like a Shayna Baszler who had years experience doing the wrestling thing and pick up everything just like that. I also don't expect them to beat Ronda Rousey because not everybody is built like a Ronda Rousey. But man, if you are training alongside those two and training alongside everybody at the PC, you should be much further along than where you are right now. I've noticed no difference from the last time I seen them physically. I was there. No difference from when I was there at Full Sail to what I see now. That's not a good thing. I'm not a pro wrestler. I will never be a pro wrestler. I don't have the testicular fortitude to be a pro wrestler. But I know a good pro wrestler when I see one. Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir are not good professional wrestlers. And their look is terrible. Their timing is terrible. They don't really have an identity. All I know of them is that they're Shayna's lackeys. Their outfits are terrible. Their theme music is terrible. They're not NXT talents right now. They're merely there because Shayna is there. If Shayna wasn't there, then they wouldn't be on TV. And all this talk about, the horsewomen of UFC versus the horsewomen of WWE, I don't even want it anymore. If this is how they are progressing, I don't want it anymore. I would rather Shayna and Ronda versus a Becky and a Sasha. Or something along those lines. We get kind of a horsewomen match, but not the full 4-on-4. And who knows where Sasha is going to be anyway. She might be somewhere else if she has her way. But Shayna Baszler and what she's doing is fantastic. Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir, I'm not a fan. I don't think they're very good whatsoever. Now, Shayna is in a program with EO. It's nice to see Candice on NXT TV, as I think she should have a major part in the women's division. So, LeRae was being beaten down, and she made the hot tag to Shirai. Comes on in, runs wild, delivers a 619, followed with a springboard missile dropkick, which is always a thing of beauty. Shirai then stomped on Duke's arm. How Shayna Baszler stomps on all of her opponent's arms. Obviously, EO knew Shayna was standing there, not by ringside. Smart woman. And she bent Jessamyn Duke's arm back, and in the same way that Shayna stomps on the arm, EO stomped on Jessamyn Duke's arm. This obviously angered Shayna Baszler. So, she ran down, did Baszler, to pull Duke out of this dangerous situation. Shirai did a moonsault, or was going for a moonsault on Duke. So, she positioned herself to the outside instead of going in the ring, and she moonsaulted right on top of Duke and Shayna Baszler. Candice LeRae then did a suicide dive through the ropes and took out everybody. Referee then, after that, called for a no contest, and everybody brawled on the outside. Shirai and Baszler fought around the building and into the back. They disappeared. And later on, after this match was over, there was a no contest, and Mauro Ranallo mentioned that the NXT Women's Championship would be contested inside of a steel cage between Baszler and Io Shirai, and that airs in 2 weeks on NXT TV. I can't wait. I think that's going to be fucking fantastic. And from some of my guys that were down there, Kedrick, one of my boys, Kedrick, was down there. He was at the taping. He said that the storytelling in this match, and this is all I will say, I don't know who won. I don't really care who won. The storytelling in this match between Io and Shayna inside the cage is one of the best of 2019 for WWE. I believe him, and I can't wait to see it. Velveteen Dream, Tyler Breeze. We've seen more vignettes. This is why I said it's part 2 of the TakeOver 25 Fallout. Thank God we got next week. Highlights of Dream and Tyler Breeze. Vignette for Damien Priest and his new persona. He reminds me of Deacon Frost from Blade. Instead, he's not Steven Dorff. He's Punishment Martinez. So it's pretty much Punishment Martinez, but he's riding around in limousines and he's showcased around pretty girls. He legitimately looks like Deacon Frost, or playing the role of Deacon Frost. I'm waiting for fucking Wesley Snipes to come out and challenge him to a one-on-one match on NXT. Damien Priest. We'll see what happens. Riding around in limos. He's got this fucking vampire-like gimmick here in NXT. We'll see what happens. Apparently, at the TV tapings, he made his debut under the new moniker, and his intro was spectacular, I heard. We'll see what happens. Kushida, Drew Gulak, submission match. This one was much better than what we got last week, and was probably one of the best matches of the week for WWE TV. Drew Gulak is fantastic. I think Drew Gulak is one of the best hands that WWE has. Hands down, fucking great at what he does. I didn't know much about Kushida coming on into this. I didn't know much about Kushida coming into WWE. We've seen him for about a month now. But all I do know, out of all his accolades in New Japan, is that the guy could fucking wrestle. The guy can fucking wrestle. So, this one, like I said, was better than what we got last week. And This one was right up your alley if you're a submission specialist. If you love submission-style wrestling, this one, again, was for you. They went through a series of roll-ups and reversals. They both traded ankle locks, and the ankle lock position actually spilled out to the apron. Gulak had Kushida in an electric chair when Kushida countered into a Hurricane Rana, then sent Gulak over the top ropes and into the ring. After a slugfest, and Morrow kind of compared this to an MMA-style fight, which I don't know why he did. I guess he had the MMA feel in his blood in that moment. I don't know. But there was an exchange, both guys going back at it, back and forth. Kushida caught Gulak with a hoverboard lock eventually, and he tapped out. That was pretty much that. Gulak, after the match, teased unsportsmanlike conduct towards Kushida, and eventually he shook his hand in respect, and that was pretty much it. So there you go. Drew Gulak and Kushida. These guys can obviously wrestle. This was a nice little program for Kushida before they move him on to something a little bit more important. Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah, the Moronics 2.0. If you're modeling yourself after Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, you're already on the road to failure. They were talking about Mia Yim. Apparently they were upset that Mia Yim thinks she's next in line for a title shot, so they shamed her. Bourne had a stack of books. She had a fashion Bible to tell Mia Yim how to dress, an English book, and grammar for dummies. Awesome. Maybe both of them should have wrestling for dummies instead of nailing Mia Yim on her speech, because these two clearly cannot wrestle, and they are god-awful. I don't know what they're doing here. I don't know who likes this type of diva mentality. It certainly has a place, but not in the ring. Vanessa Bourne is okay. Aaliyah, with that cringy tone of voice. My God, get her away from me. Immediately. Awful. Absolutely awful. Imagine these two. Again, I'm going to use this as an example. Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah. With TakeOver being as great as it is, do you think Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne are at a level right now where you can put them on a TakeOver and have them live up to what TakeOver really is? The answer is no. They will never be. They'll get called up to the main roster because of their looks, and then they'll be the Idiotics 2.0. There you go. And we could have a fucking stable of all four of them, and we could change the channel not once, but twice. Moving on. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch defeated Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. There is no way that these two teams could have a bad match. I love their match from TakeOver Chicago. It was fantastic. And this one was no difference. This one got really crazy at the end. Burch got a near fall, immediately transitioned into a crossface on O'Reilly. Before that, Undisputed Era was working over Oney Lorcan. Burch was the one who received the hot tag. The entire match broke down after this. Burch, like I said, got a near fall. Transitioned into a crossface on O'Reilly. Strong made a save to help O'Reilly get a rope break. Brainbuster by O'Reilly, which was great because at the same time, Roderick Strong knife-edge chopped Lorcan in the Brainbuster position, which was great. Burch, I'm sorry. And Oney Lorcan made the save. Brainbuster on Danny Burch by O'Reilly with Roderick Strong chopping Danny Burch, and then Oney Lorcan jumped in to make the save. Match broke down again. Out comes Jackson Riker. He appeared on the stage, and two officials tried to come out and stop him. I don't know what the fuck he was doing out there, but apparently he was still upset about what these four guys did to him at TakeOver 25. Jackson Riker comes down. Officials held him back. I believe he powerbombed one of them and then threw one of them on the fucking ramp. That distracted O'Reilly, which allowed Burch to roll him up in a schoolboy and get the victory over the Undisputed Era. Fantastic main event. Really nothing to it, but there's no way those two teams could have a bad match. And man, I love Roderick Strong. There's something about Roderick Strong, man. With him joining the Undisputed Era, we all know this is a given. Him joining the Undisputed Era was a career-defining moment for him. He was as dull as a box of fucking crayons. Guy was not going anywhere on his own. Joins the Undisputed Era. His attitude, his intensity, his charisma, through the roof. And there's nobody as intense as Roderick Strong, man. You put that guy in the ring, he's going to make you feel it. He's going to bring a sense of legitimacy to a match that not many people could do in WWE, in all of WWE. And I think Roderick Strong right now is at a level that if you put him in the ring with anybody, he's going to make them that much better. That's how good he is. This was a great match, and it's no different. Because if you've seen their match in Chicago, you know what these two teams can do. Undisputed Era against anybody is just a great tag team match. So we'll see what happens with them. I expect them to be tag team champions again for a third time in NXT before all is said and done. I am getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much. Funny fact, before I get out of here, I tried to record this last night, and in fact, I did over an hour. And I went back to look at the file. Never recorded. I was recording in front of this camera and this microphone without the record button hit. So I had to wake up early to give you guys the podcast this morning, so I apologize for not getting it up last night. But hopefully, that won't happen again. A content creator's nightmare, forgetting to hit the record button. That's what happened to me. Follow me on social media, guys, at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. AudibleTrial.com/offthescripts. Ridge.com/script. Code script at checkout for 10% off. And if you guys missed my videos this week, make sure you guys go and check them out. Links are in the annotation, that top right corner, the little I. Drop it down. Everything you need will be right there for you if you did miss anything on the channel this week. That's Raw, SmackDown, and Off the Script Extra, including Off the Script from last week, episode 277. Thank you guys so very much. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for Off the Script, episode 278. Have a good Thursday. We'll see you there.